Hello everyone. I've completed the inverter install on the travel trailer, and I thought I'd start right out here at the battery. I have a brand new lead acid battery I purchased from Walmart for 90 bucks plus tax. And I also have just a solar panel here that's got a little solar charge controller that helps keep this battery charged whenever it's idle, you know, sitting somewhere stored or whatever. It helps keep that battery trickle charged. One other thing about this battery is that it does have a connector right there that I can just disconnect the battery right from the trailer very easily. Just come out here and unplug it right there, and that disconnects that whole battery. We'll go inside now, and I'll show you the finished product for the install. I've got the air conditioning off so that it's quiet in here, and of course if you're doing any project, for me, I have to have one of these available. Now, notice here that the panels down there are all lit up. So this is the completed project, and I ended up putting some light bulbs in there so that it kind of helps light the place whenever you know, at night, if I'm in here. It runs on 110. I'll show you that setup. But let me bring the light over here so we can see this very easily. If I open this up, I ended up installing two sets of two breakers. So I ended up putting a breaker on for the converter. So the breaker has its own converter here, the old converter. And then I've got a Victron, it should be VIC, but it's a Victron charger that runs off of its own breaker, 15 amp. And then I put another breaker that's a 15 amp. I'm calling it the WeBoost because I'm planning on putting a WeBoost in here. And I can plug that in up underneath here as well. And I can turn it on and off if I want to by itself. But right now I've got it running my lights that are inside that box. And then this one is the inverter transfer switch, basically. So it's off right now. It's a 20 amp transfer switch. And what I ended up doing for the 12 volt system is I ended up taking the converter off of the charge side and then adding another wire from the back side to where this converter was hooked up so that I can do the Victron or the converter. And I ended up adding a positive wire from my new lithium battery that's down in here. There was a connector where I could connect the lithium battery direct into the panel, and I'll show you the detail of that. So for the inverter, I ended up installing down at the bottom here, I'm installing the 20 amp outlet here, and then a red 20 amp inverter outlet. This goes straight to the inverter. So when the inverter's turned on, this one gets hot. And then this one gets hot only when you turn on this here, this 20 amp. So if you're going to run your inverter system, you want to make sure that your main panel is off, your air conditioning is off, you know, things that you don't want to run is turned off, but the other smaller appliances and things that you may want to use, you leave it turned on. So what you do is, if you're not on shore power, you turn that off, turn that on, and then you plug this in here. And what that does is, you know, the inverter will come live, and then it will go through the 12 gauge wire here and out and into this 20 amp circuit and backfeed into the system. And you can plug that in right there, and that will basically feed your whole cabin, everything. You can run your air conditioner off of it and everything if you got enough battery juice. But I did test it. It does run the air conditioner, but I only have one battery, so it pretty much overheated that battery. Lithium battery didn't like it, but it did run it for about 15 minutes. So this little guy right here, that cost 30 bucks to make that, because each one of these is $15 at Lowe's, and but it works great. So that is the box piece of it, and that's how you're going to hook up. You know, I will make it hot from my inverter. And I also added this little switch right here for the propane detector, because otherwise it's on all the time, and I didn't want it on all the time. It drains the battery. So I put a little on-off switch so I can turn it on when I need to, when I'm using the travel trailer. All right, so the next piece is I ended up cutting both panels out, and I ended up using this diffuser for lighting. I found it at Lowe's, and it's just a diffuser, and I cut it down to fit to cover the panels. And then what you do is you need to get in there. You just take this off. I use the little 3M stickers, and those things work great, you know. So they hold well, and it doesn't damage your stuff. So you can take your diffuser panel away when you need to access it. And as you can see in there, I got a couple bulbs burning. And if I want to turn those bulbs off, I just go over here to this panel. I'll go ahead and turn them off so they're not so bright. And I'll just turn off this Boost one. And then that turns those bulbs out. So that, but it's pretty nice to have them in there because, you know, if you need some extra light, it kind of helps light the place up. But anyway, so here is all the stuff I ended up putting in here. So it was quite a lot of work to get all that in there. I fit it all into this one little box. You see the inverter there. We just start right there with the inverter. Install that on a 3/4 plywood I put in there. And then you've got your cables that run up over here to the side, your positive and your negative. All right, so coming out of the inverter, I put it into the switch here, master switch. So you just turn this to turn it on and off. You just turn that big master switch and it goes down and powers through a 400 watt fuse here. And then the other little red wire you see here, that goes and powers my shunt. And then it comes through, and I ran out of the wire, this 2/0 wire that I got down at Harbor Freight. That big thick stuff, that's 2/0 at Harbor Freight, works perfect, but I did have to cut it and make some of my own ends. Then over here, I've got the shunt. You can see I got it mounted upside down just because it was easier to run the cables that way, but I got my system grounds there to the right, and then it goes to the battery on the left, and then this shunt has a power supply. This one is going to power it, and then this other one here, this goes to the other battery. So the lead acid battery up front, it will monitor the voltage on that, so that's pretty cool. For the shunt, I also added on-off switch because the shunt does draw a little bit of power when it's on. So if I don't need the shunt working, then I can just turn it off right here. Then down here, I've got all of my switches that operate the different situations I want to be in. So here, if I flip this over, it says charge lith. So this one is going to charge the lithium battery if it's on from my Victron charger. If it's off, then it's going to charge, you know, I can have it charge the lead acid battery, this one here. So if I want the lead acid battery to charge, there's that one. And then this one is just lithium on. So if my lead acid battery happens to be dead, I can go out front and unplug it like I showed you, and I can turn this one on. My lithium battery here will then feed my system, and I can use my lithium battery instead of the lead acid battery. And you should never have this on while your lead acid battery is connected, because you don't want to mix the lead acid battery juice with this one, because they just say not to do it. Then I've got this switch here I added. This also turns off the shunt. If I don't want it to monitor that battery up front, I can turn it off here, but it really doesn't hurt just to leave it on because it doesn't draw anything. If this one over here is off, then the shunt doesn't draw any juice out of this and run your battery down. So I didn't find that out until after I installed it. So it doesn't hurt anything to have it, but it's there. And then when I got a 110 volt outlet here that runs my Victron. So this is one of the breakers goes to this outlet, and I can turn it on and off and turn my Victron on and off if I want to. And then this one over here, I called it the Wii Boost, but that's a 110 outlet in there, and I'm going to probably install Wii Boost, that way I can turn it on and off if I want to. for now, I've got these bulbs in here, which that's pretty cool. It helps, it lights the place up, you know, at night. And I can just turn it on using that breaker. I've got down at the bottom, I've got the Victron charger. And I ended up getting the one that you can put up to 3 feeds off of it down here. And it works great, you know. So if I want to charge my lead acid battery, I can just leave this one off for my lithium and turn on my lead acid one here, and it will charge that lead acid battery. The nice thing about this is when I put this in storage, I have a 110 supply, and I can leave this on and it will go into the mode that's required to keep your lead acid battery going. And then of course, again, up under here, this is the outlets I put in to power the house if I'm using this inverter. If you need to know what the settings are for the Bluetooth Victron, here's the settings that I use. So, you know, when you go in to set up your shunt, for this battery, you set it for this. So this particular battery requires a 14.4 is the ultimate charging voltage. So I go in and I do a custom set, and I set it to 14.4 volts for that. I do have an additional phone here that has the Victron app on it, but you can go in here and you can set it for normal, recondition, high, lithium, and this one is 30 or 15 amp. If you go into your shunt, I'll go into the shunt here. The shunt will talk also. The shunt talks to the charger. So you can set up a little mini network. Here's the lithium battery information. It's at 98%, 13.33 volts. It's not on, nothing's on, there's no power going out. And you can go in here and you go to your settings and you set up all of these different items that I showed you here on this battery. So it's a really nice shunt. It works great. I noticed that it does work very well. Now I do have this remote control up here for the inverter. It's pretty nice that I don't have to reach back there and turn it on manually. But all you got to do, and I'll go ahead and turn it on to show you. You just flip this switch over. That flips that on, and then there's still no voltage. You know, that inverter doesn't draw anything until you turn it on. The inverter will just power this one side here. I don't have anything hooked up to it, but you just turn it on and you just hold it right, hold that button in, and then it turns on and it starts doing voltage. So if I were to plug anything into this red one right now, it would work. And as soon as you turn that on, you can see here that just in idle, this thing is going to it's taking about 6 watts just to run it idle, even though there's nothing running on the inverter. And the shunt is very accurate. I can take this light here. If I was to take this light on this little lamp and plug in there, it's a 14 watt light. I'm gonna plug it into the red one here. All right, and you notice the amperage is going up. It's up to about 20 watts. So the shunt works great. See, if I turn the light off, it goes right on down. It tells you how long remaining on your battery. My plan is probably I might get another battery, and I can set it right here on top of this one. There's enough room to put one more battery in here, and I can anchor it down somehow on top of this battery so it doesn't move around. But that's about it, you know. So once you're done with this, you just take this and put it back in there and push it down with the Velcro strips. So that's it. That's my project. I hope this kind of might help you out. I will try and build a list of all the things I used and purchased down in the information section of the video. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Hello everyone. just following up on some additional work I've done on my system. I decided to go ahead and get another battery, and as you can see there, I've got another 100 amp hour Wise battery. I've got it all wired in. Finished the wiring today. I've already got them both charged up and all set, ready to go. And I have the inverter on. One thing I am adding to my rig is this WeBoost. I've got it all mounted in there, and the only thing left to do is to put a hole through the wall so I can run the cable through there. So that's going to be another addition to my project, the WeBoost. And you can see here I've got this alternate app here. The Smart Shunt is showing you that I've got 100%, showing you the current voltage. I have 200 amp hours now instead of just 100. I have the television on. The television is running off of the inverter. I have the jumper wires in place, red to white here at the bottom, and I have all of the proper breakers turned off and on to make this work. So far, so good. Everything is working great. So I have my Dos Equis here in case I need it, and then I have a glass of water. Microwave's not turned on. I need to go down there and turn the breaker. Let me get that breaker turned on. See, the microwave's not on yet. See, it's this one. There we go. All right. Microwave is now powered up. And let's do 1 minute. And if we look at the Smart Shunt here, we are now pulling 1600 and a good over 1600 watts. And I got that 3500 watt inverter up underneath there that's doing the trick. So yeah, it works great. If it'll run that microwave, it'll run a coffee pot. Just run the television at the same time. So, oh yeah, it's warm. And now we're down to 98% on our batteries, and we're back down to 62 watts pulling. So, next question is, will it run the air conditioner? Well, let's give that a try. All right, let's see if it turns on the AC. Oh yeah. AC is running, and it's cold. And if I go down and look here, let's see. Oh, we're pulling less watts with the AC than we were with the microwave. He's pulling under 1500. Wow. That's amazing. And I'm running 2 batteries. Let me fill these. When I was running 1 battery and the AC was going, those wires got pretty warm. The wires are not hot at all. Zero hotness. Yeah. Wow. That's the finished product. Still got to run the wire for the WeBoost, but at that point, everything will be ready to go. So, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you out on your project, and I will put a list of items down in the comment section so that you can see all the different things that I bought off of eBay, Amazon, and other places. There you have it, folks. Thank you, and talk to you later.